Heyo, welcome back to the Undrafted and Unqualified Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Anthony, and I'm going to be doing today's episode for you guys. No Vinny today, once again. Alluded to it a little bit last week, but we're going to do another little draft type thing today. So it's going to incorporate a little bit more Dynasty kind of redraft hybrid. So I'll talk about that a little more when we get there. I hope you guys are enjoying the offseason. We just had the combine. It was pretty cool to see some studs out there. Jeremiah Love, I know when we had our mock draft last week, both Vinny and I are talking big about Jeremiah Love. Vinny probably even more than me, but he's going to be a stud. There's going to be some good receivers in this class. Couple tight ends. Kenyon Sadiq, he was amazing in the combine. He looks like an athletic freak. So looking forward to that. We'll definitely have those names coming up, especially post-draft when we know where they're going to be and what that looks like. But, the usual. We're going to talk about a little bit of news real quick, and then we will get into it. And I'll explain exactly what we're doing today. So, first pieces of news, we got a couple franchise tags. First one being Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, hot name, hot year. It's like, okay, is he going to go get paid in the free agent market? Nope. Atlanta Falcons are franchise tagging him. He'll be there catching passes from maybe Michael Penix. I don't know if I trust that he'll be the quarterback there. I don't really trust him in general. But there's nobody else there. It's Drake London. It's Kyle Pitts. So I do trust Pitts to still be somewhat productive because of that. So that is the case there. Pitts will be there. I think it's a fine place to stay. It's better than going somewhere where his stock would get deflated, but it's not the best. I think he could have had much better production elsewhere if he were to end up in a pretty good landing spot. We'll keep an eye on who the quarterback is. If it's Penix, it's not the best, but we'll see. The other franchise tag, George Pickens. This is big. We talked about it last week when we took George Pickens in our mock draft. I think George Pickens is going to be very good if he stays in Dallas. There is somewhat of a little bit of rumors that he could be tagged and then traded. That's a possibility. But I kind of anticipate him to stay in Dallas on that franchise tag. And that's great news for him. Great news for Dak. CD, downgrade him slightly, but at the same time, by the dip, he's still going to be very elite. The two of them are both wide receiver ones on the same team. That's very, very possible. We see it time and time again. So I would definitely buy into both of them this upcoming year. Love that for for George Pickens rather. Other news: Aaron Jones is getting released. What does this mean for the Vikings? First off, Jordan Mason is the lone guy right there. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring someone else in. However, if Jordan Mason is the guy, it's a pretty good spot to be in. I think he could get some good work, and he could be a fine, mid to late RB2. I think that could be totally fine for Jordan Mason. Even if they bring in just a change of pace guy and it's clear Jordan Mason's going to be the lead guy, I think that's still, back end RB2. That's totally fine. Aaron Jones, we'll see where he goes. I don't know if he's going to still play. Maybe this is it for him. But I think he'll end up going somewhere else. He'll sign somewhere, and we'll evaluate when that situation actually happens. Let's hope they move on from J.J. McCarthy. That would be great for the offense, the Vikings offense as a whole. So we'll see, but Aaron Jones getting released does not necessarily help the offense as a whole. So we'll see. Keep an eye on where Aaron Jones ends up in the quarterback situation there. We'll talk more on that when we learn more information. This is a big one. Just happened today. David Montgomery traded to the Houston Texans. I think this is big for everybody involved, aside from Woody Marks. Woody Marks takes a hit. He was very inefficient last year, though. And the draft capital, I believe he was a day 3, 4th round pick, I want to say. So, the draft capital wasn't there in the NFL draft. So, those are the type of guys where they can lose their jobs very quickly. He was very inefficient, and that's the situation. Joe Mixon just couldn't get there. If Joe Mixon was healthy, I believe he would have taken that job right back. But I think Joe Mixon could be done. I mean, there's no news there. They just traded quite a bit for David Montgomery, a 4th and a 7th, plus an offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs. So, considering how much they gave up to get David Montgomery, I kind of anticipate that Joe Mixon could be done. This should be David Montgomery's backfield now. Woody Marks maybe catching some passes out of the backfield, change of pace every once in a while. He's a solid backup to have. But David Montgomery was very efficient last year. Even if he didn't get a ton of work, he was very efficient. I think he could be a very rock solid RB2, maybe even back end RB1 if things swing his way. So I'm big on David Montgomery. I think this is a great landing spot for him. And for the other side of it, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say he'd be the RB1, but it's hard to argue he should be anything less than the RB2 or, you know, at the very least RB3 at this point, right? It's always, oh, Monty's holding him back, Monty's holding him back. This is his backfield now. I would be shocked if they don't bring in another guy to do, something like just some guy to be there, right? But I think this is huge for Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon, and it's super exciting. We'll see what happens if they bring anybody in, what the situation is, but I'll still end up probably having Bijan over him. That could very well change. It's March 2nd. It's very early in the offseason still. But as of now, I'd probably lean Bijan RB1, Gibbs RB2. Still, both of them will be so, so good. I really like this for Gibbs, and I like this for Montgomery as well. So yeah, that's the news for today. If we are to take a look here, I'll pull this up so you guys can look along. So what we're going to do today is we are going to basically do a mock draft again. We're going to do a dynasty style with 8 teams. 8 teams, the reason I'm doing that is so we don't get into it too deep and it's like a deep total dynasty draft. I want to keep it somewhat relevant to redraft as well. So what I'm going to be doing is doing with the dynasty pool, but I'm going to be thinking about guys for the next 3-ish years. So you may see me drafting some veterans if the time pops up for those veterans to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize 3 times, and that's the position we'll get. We're doing the same format: quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, flex, 6 bench spots. So same as our mock draft, just this is going to be dynasty, less teams. So hopefully I can get some guys out there where it's like, these are the guys I would want for the next 3 years. And yeah, we'll just have some fun with it. So this is the 3rd spin. This is the one we're going to get. Pick 1. Wow, that'll be... We'll take a look. But yeah, let's hop into this here. I'll talk about, who I would want and where. We're going to hide those tiers, right? I'll pull up my team on the side as like last time. So draft board, there's nothing there. So I'll be at the turn. That'll be nice. So yeah, let's see here. Immediately I see Jamar Chase, and it feels like that is the easiest option of all time. Taking Jamar Chase here. I think Bijan would be a very, very solid option as well. But there are some very young running backs here I'm seeing, and I know there's some other young wide receivers, but to pass on Jamar Chase, I just don't think I can do that. Jamar Chase is only 26 years old. To have him until he's 29 years old, I love it. I'm taking him. He'll be the first guy I take off the board. Yeah, Bijan goes immediately after. JSN. A bunch of receivers here. Gibbs, Achane, Genty, Hampton. Bowers goes as well. Let's see. James Cook is there. I am seeing Jeremiah Love, and I think that is where I'm going to go. I have 2 picks here, so I can be a little bullish on guys I want, right? Because I can go back to back. And looking at this running back class here, I really like Jeremiah Love. I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. James Cook, just because of the holdout and the workload he got this year, I would prefer somebody else who may be more of like a true 3-down back like Jeremiah Love. There's not going to be many of them anymore. It seems like a lot of teams are going to that committee approach. But Jeremiah Love's going to be the guy I get here. And then, so that leaves me with Love and Chase. And looking at other running backs, I don't know if I like any of these right in this spot. I feel like I'd rather wait. Trey McBride feels great. How old is Trey McBride? Let's take a look. He's 26 years old. He would be elite to have. You just considering the tight end field though. Like Kenyon Sadiq is way down there. I like that a lot. And then just some of these young guys right in here, right? Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Harold Finn. I think I'd rather wait there. Quarterbacks, you can wait. I think you can wait. Just like in redraft, I think you can wait. Very, very similar here. For the next 3 years here, who would I want out of these wide receivers? I'm looking right here at Rashee Rice, actually, and that feels like a very, very good name to get. Yeah, some of these names, interesting. Yeah, I think I am going to go Rashee Rice. Well, there's also there. Yeah, no, there is also all the legal issues. No, I'll pass on Rashee Rice. Nico Collins feels good. He feels rock solid. Pickens, Tet McMillan, he could get better. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave just had a great year. Him with Tyler Shook for the next 3 years feels great too. Um, I think I am gonna go. Oh, it popped the rankings over there. I think I am gonna go Nico Collins though. He's only 26 years old. He is incredible. He's just gonna get targets after targets. So it feels like a can't miss kind of pick right there. Let's take a look at the board. Trey McBride goes immediately after. Tet goes off the board. Luther Bird and Makai Lemon. Wow, some of these guys here. You have Josh Allen, Drake May. A couple of these quarterbacks are going. Those are probably the two guys to have in Dynasty. But I feel like I can wait there. I mean, I'm looking loaded so far. Other guys I would like to have. Let's see. Looking ahead, Bucky Irvin, not bad. I mean, Jaden Daniels right there. Jaden is a pretty solid pick. I think some of these guys are still good options, though. A little bit down the line, I don't even mind Mendoza as a backup. Jackson Dart's in there at 10. That feels great. Look, yeah, I definitely want to get a running back here at this moment. I'm thinking, so I like Bucky. Bucky's 23 years old. I just don't know what the landscape is going to look like for him in the future for him in Tampa. Chase Brown, it looks like he's going to get an extension done, which I like a lot. And truthfully, I think that's where I'm going to go. Well, I do have Jamar Chase. Chase Brown is 25 years old. Saquon, you look at the age there. That's why, even for 3 seasons, if I'm drafting for 3 seasons, that feels like a risk. Quinshon Judkins, not a bad option. Ken Walker. Yeah, how old is Walker? He's 25 years old. Yeah, he's drawing interest from the Giants. Looks like he may go somewhere where he'll be in a committee again, which is a little bit of why there's hesitancy there. Yeah, wow, this is tough here. This is tough in here. Josh Jacobs, how old is he? 28. Even 3 years, that feels like it's a little risky. I might actually wait. And let's take a look. Oh, I meant to click show less. Okay, let's take a look here. Lad McConkey is there too. Lad feels great. Emeka Egbuka, I actually like long term. There's some great names here though, so I think I'm fine waiting. Let me go Bucky. No, let me go Chase Brown. Let me go Chase Brown. I think I'm going to stack up on the Bengals here. I'm not going to let that stop me. I really like Chase Brown. I think he's got a lot of potential even for the next 3 years. So I'm going to go Chase Brown there. And then, again, this is 8 teams. I got to keep that in mind. I think I'm going to just lock up Lad McConkey here. He's young. He's 24 years old. I think... How old is A.J. Brown? 28. Man, doing this dynasty thing is pretty tough. Carnell Tate's not a bad option. You have, Makai Lemon went. Jordan Tyson's down the board. It falls off a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go Lad McConkey just because he's my wide receiver 3. I can afford that. So, all right, now it doesn't want to load, of course, right? Whenever this allows me to click on Lad McConkey and draft him, I will be doing so, if it lets me. There we go. All right, Lad McConkey, welcome to the team. So he's going in my flex. I feel good right now. There go the 3 rookie tight ends. I was thinking about it, decided against it. 4 quarterbacks went off the board. Jordan Tyson went off the board. So they're going young here. I think what I want to do, Tucker Kraft is very young. He's 25 years old. It feels like there's a huge drop off in tight end. I can't even lie. So what I am gonna do, I'm gonna grab Tucker Kraft with this first pick, and then Joe Burrow. We're just gonna stack up the Bengals. I didn't even realize he's still there. So yeah, I'm gonna stack up Joe Burrow. We're gonna get a crazy Bengals stack for the next 3 years. I mean, that's gonna be amazing. I love that. Let's check the draft board here. Jalen Hurts went right after. And then a bunch of running backs and receivers. Let's keep looking the depth there. So running backs. Derrick Henry's getting old, so drafting for 3 years, that's tough. Yeah, running backs are getting slim already. Glad I went Chase Brown when I did. Let's see. Let's see a wide receiver. Zay Flowers, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle feels not bad, considering that it's 3 years. You imagine that they're gonna figure something out at quarterback, so it'll look solid for the next 3 years. He would be my wide receiver 4. I think I will do that with one of my picks. I think another one. Derrick Henry's so good, but honestly, I think I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. He's 27 years old. You might get 1 to 2 years out of him. Zach Charbonnet, Ramondre Stevenson. Actually, since the trade just happened and this hasn't updated yet, I'm going to go ahead. Well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'll draft appropriately. I'm not going to just sit on him. I'll draft David Montgomery now that he's in Houston. I think that is fair. This is a good spot for him to be going. I don't want to play this game where it says he's still in Detroit either. I'll play fair there. And I think I am going to go Jalen Waddle. I like that pick a lot. Just checking out the draft board. More tight ends go off the board. Jonah Coleman, Casey Concepcion, a lot of rookies here. Let's see, are there any rookies for me to take a stab at? Doesn't look like it. I like Sadiq too. Yeah, Jonah Coleman, rookie off the board. I kind of like Trey Benson as well. He just never really got a chance. And feels like that's a pretty solid pick there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Trey Benson. I'm feeling pretty good. He's 23 years old. Yeah, that feels like a great pick there. He could really be the guy for Arizona, especially with James Conner being a potential cut candidate. Let's scroll up. Jackson Dart still being there. You know, in this kind of league, I feel like I'm going to go Jackson Dart. I'm going to stack. I'm going to double up. Grab a sophomore quarterback. That feels great. And did the draft board just go through? Yep. Tootin. So I got my last 2 picks right here. Tootin went. Yeah, you have Kenyon Sadiq who went. Woody Marks. Yeah, some of these running back, like Tony Pollard, feels gross for the next 3 years. Same with Bill Krosky. Kittle, if you're getting him for 3, yeah, that's not terrible. Even if he will miss some time this year, I don't mind that. Let's see. Do I want another running back? I just don't think there's any running backs worth taking here. So I think I'm gonna avoid running back. I have 2 quarterbacks. Looking at tight end, I feel pretty good with Tucker Kraft. Eli Stowers would probably be the guy I go after. If I were to. I think I'm going to look receiver here. So I have Waddle, McConkey, Nico Collins, Jamar Chase. Let's take a look through some of these receivers. Show more. I want to see if I can get any guys I'm a little bit higher on. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of some of those names down there. I do like. How old is Devontae? He's 33 years old. That is pretty old. The next 3 years, I mean, Terry McLaurin, I know he's 30. So he's a little bit older. Worthy, Sutton's getting older too. He's 30. DK is 28. It just feels gross in his situation. I kind of like Michael Wilson. I hate to say it, but I kind of like Michael Wilson. I think I'm going to go Michael Wilson here. He just sticks out to me. He's 26 years old. Let's grab Michael Wilson there. Okay. And then, let's see. Rookies. Denzel Boston is still on the board. I like that. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go get Denzel Boston. And that is what I have for the, and keep in mind, Dynasty rankings, but I'm also thinking the next 3 years specifically. So, if we take a look at my team, again, this is only 8 teams. Teams are going to be stacked. But I did this as kind of a way where it's not totally who would I take for the next 3 years, because then I can just pick the best players available. So I did it in a draft, but did it with 8 teams, so I'm not totally picking the best, but I'm still getting a great team, and I think this is an awesome team. Just guys I like for the next few years, things like that. So looking at the quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, you got Jackson Dart, and when we're coming to build a team specifically, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, and Jamar Chase, yeah, lot of stock in the Bengals, but that feels fantastic. So Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart. I mean, the only other team to get a backup got Trevor Lawrence. I don't like that at all. I got Jackson Dart over here. Herbert, it looks like, went undrafted. Yeah, Justin Herbert went undrafted. Interesting. I got Tucker Kraft here. Wow, this guy went Bowers and McBride. Interesting. Yeah, if I were to go a backup, I think Sadiq would have been an awesome option. But I felt pretty good with Tucker Kraft. He's young. He'll be coming off an ACL tear, but we're also looking ahead a little bit. Running back, Jeremiah Love. I think he's going to be a stud. Chase Brown, he's been great. I think he's going to continue to be, especially if he gets that extension. Trey Benson, right? He has not had a chance just yet. But like I said, he's very young. He's 23 years old, or maybe 22. If I forget what I read on his name. But Trey Benson's young. He's no older than 23. And he's going to be going into year 3, coming off an injury. Year 3 sometimes can be the year people are breaking out. There could be no James Conner. I wonder what they'll do at running back. You know, I'd anticipate they bring somebody in at least, but what if Trey Benson's just that good? So I'm taking a shot on Trey Benson. I like the upside. I like how young he is, and the fact that he's not just a rookie I'm taking a shot on, you know, like a Jaden Blue like last year. It was like, oh, well, the path is there. It looks like he has availability, you know, because it's only Javonte Williams in front of him. Well, he barely touched the field. So I'm taking a guy who's been in the NFL with Trey Benson. And David Montgomery, he's in Houston now. I like that. I know it hasn't updated here, but now that he's in Houston, I like that a lot for him. And I think he's going to be a great RB3. And then Benson will be more of a flyer RB4. And at wide receiver, Jamar Chase felt like a very easy pick there. Nico Collins wasn't the sexiest, but he's so rock solid. I got Ladd McConkey. I just feel like his youth and just the availability and the possibility with Mike McDaniel at offensive coordinator and with Justin Herbert at quarterback, that feels good. Jalen Waddle, hopefully they'll just figure out the QB situation, but I'm buying the talent. Michael Wilson, taking a shot. The talent was there last year. He showed up in a big way, so hopefully the quarterback situation solves itself there. And then a rookie, Denzel Boston. Hopefully he's a stud. We'll see. But yeah, so that's that, you know, kind of just doing a little hybrid between redraft and, you know, a dynasty pod. So that's what I ended up doing. And we had some fun with it today. You know, a nice quick episode for next episode. So that's what the plan was for today. For next episode, I think we're going to do some like breakout type guys. So we'll have some of our, you know, we're going to come in with some names that we're buying into a little bit, things like that. So that should be a lot of fun once again. We got 2 more planned, and then I'll kind of plan after that a little bit. But again, we'll still be coming at you weekly, and we'll be doing this throughout the off season. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a shorter episode, a little bit different. Hopefully it was fun. I had fun with it. Definitely, especially with all the Bengals stock and Jeremiah Love. But yeah, it was a fun episode, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. See you in the next episode. Peace.